Guess I can give it to you. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. My name is Brett Hobby. I'm the director of the College of Business Career Center. We're really thrilled you've decided to take time today to come and learn from different executives within different industries. We are pleased today to have a special guest as our keynote. But to introduce our guest, I am first going to turn the podium over to Dr. Dean Mike Fields.
All right, so I'm Mike Fields. I'm Dean of the college. I've been Dean of Colleges of Business for about 10 years. I've had the opportunity over that 10 years to introduce a lot of folks that have accomplished a great deal. I most often have a piece of paper that I introduce people from. Recent years, I thought, well, you know, I think I'll try to memorize the stuff on the list and do it without notes. You're going to see in a moment why I could not do that in this case. I'll also tell you, in those 10 years, this is the first time that I've ever introduced someone with a PowerPoint. And you're going to see again in just a minute why I had to do that. So, fire away. All right, so Mattress Mack. You know Mattress Mack. You've seen him on TV. You have seen him say, I can save you money, right? Is that correct? Right?
No, it really will save
you money, right? I will save you money, right? And you've seen him be able to get quite a bit of copy into 30 seconds or a minute commercial, right? So he's a Houston institution. He started his business in 1981, and from what I understand, it was part building, part tent, and started with a small investment. And so in those 35 years, in his 35-year history, his business history, he's always been very positive, and he's always had, let's get it done today type of mentality. And in those 35 years, it hasn't always been all success. Life can throw you curves. Threw a curve with, is it 2004 that your warehouse burned down? 2009, May 21st, 2009. So May 20th, he had just opened a store recently in the Galleria area. Things were flying, right? May 21st, the building burned down, his flagship store. So do you mash your hands and say, oh, why me? What am I going to do? No, you get it done today. So less than 4 months later, he had a grand opening of a bright new store that replaced the one that burned down because of the get it done today mentality. Life can throw you curves personally. Illnesses, disorders, things with you or in your family that you don't expect or anticipate. Do you wring your hands or do you see what you can do to make a difference? All right? Now, let's talk a little bit about parallels with the College of Business. So, Mattress Mack, Gallery Furniture serves the Houston demographic just as the College of Business does. In the College of Business, 40% Hispanic. Our students are 40% Hispanic, 26% African American, 10% Asian. So we pretty much mirror the Houston marketplace, and that's been a critical demographic in the success of Gallery Furniture. We're providing value and realizing growth. 2.5 years ago, our MBA program was the smallest MBA program in the Houston region. Last fall, we became the largest MBA program in the region because we're driving value to students. Now, promoting value and giving back to Houston to make Houston a better place. How many of you have been in BUS 3300 in the last 2 years? Any of you in here? All right. So you probably, if that's the case, you probably spent a Saturday morning at the food bank, a 4-hour period of time working at the food bank. Every student, this is the first class in the College of Business, every student in the College of Business goes and spends 4 hours at the food bank, writes a paper about it. It's all about helping you understand the importance of, as a corporate citizen, giving back. That's part of your education. So let's look at a history of giving from this individual. This is the part that I couldn't memorize. I'm going to read off his giving history, all right? Co-founded Peace of Mind Foundation for those affected with obsessive compulsive disorder. One of the largest contributors to Houston Livestock and Rodeo Show with over $4 million given. Funded St. Luke's Mobile Stroke Unit. Large contributor to Texas Heart Institute, Baylor College of Medicine, and Harvard Medical School. Instrumental in getting the Menninger Clinic to move to Houston to provide mental health care to Houston by providing a multi-million-dollar donation. Annual Christmas giveaway furnishing hundreds of households of furniture for the past 30 years. You see that every Christmas. See him on TV. Help start and continuously fund Kickstart Kids program in Houston. Furnish the USO facilities around the world for those that are serving our country. Furnished the George Bush Presidential Library at Texas A&M. Hosted events for and donated to the Salvation Army. Donated thousands of dollars of furniture to hundreds of teacher lounges in the Houston area schools. Helped to raise over $12 million for the Bush-Clinton Fund to aid those affected by the tsunami in Southeast Asia and hurricanes Katrina and Rita. Underwrote YMCA playground for Reliant Stadium for Katrina evacuees and housed several hundred evacuees during the hurricane crisis. Underwrote the National OCF Conference held in Houston. Recipient of the Mental Health Association Award in 2005. Underwrote the Wolf exhibit for the Houston Zoo. Built and paid for the tennis facility at Yates High School. Donated tennis rackets to inner city kids that would not otherwise have the opportunity to take tennis lessons. Sole sponsor of the Pilgrimage of Faith, sending 500 kids and chaperones from the Houston-Galveston Catholic Diocese to Rome. Fed 25,000 people Thanksgiving dinner across several years. Bought 10,000 toys for needy children, distributing during the holidays. So I ask you, is this man making a difference?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is he making Houston a better place? So that's my challenge to you. And please welcome Jim Mattress Mack.
Thank you, Dean, for that very kind introduction. I had no idea I'd done all that. It must have been somebody else. I take no credit for it. I give all the credit to my wonderful wife. I apologize for being a little bit late this morning. I got lost. But first of all, on the way down here, I had to stop off and deliver some solid wood furniture. However, before I launch into this semi-brilliant dissertation, by the way, this dissertation is going to be on free enterprise and capitalism. My message to you students here today is real simple. Whatever I have done in my life, you can do better. The American dream still exists. Don't let anybody tell you it doesn't, because I'm living proof. If somebody as dumb as I can do this, somebody as smart as you young people in here can do this. The sky's the limit. You see, I was doing real well about, yesterday was my birthday, so I guess it was 37 years ago. I was 28 years old. I was living home with my folks in Dallas, Texas, where I grew up at, and I had kind of a menial job. I was sacking groceries, making about $3 an hour. And then nothing wrong with sacking groceries, nothing wrong with making minimum wage, but I kind of felt like my college education, my background, and maybe I should be doing something a little better than that. Anyway, I had a bad attitude. And the name of that convenience store I was working at was located in a rough neighborhood there in northeast Dallas. The name of that convenience store, it was called a Stop and Rob. That's funny. Anyway, one day the boss walked in and looked over at me. He said, son, you got a bad attitude. And I said, yes, sir, I know it, sir, but I'm trying to change. He was signing my help me change. The thoughts racing in my mind. How's this man going to help me change? A raise, promotion, what's he going to do for me? I said, sir, that's great. I said, how are you going to help me change? And he said, boy, you're fired. And I said, oh, no, and I went home that night to my folks' house. I went into a depression, a deep depression for several weeks. You see, I felt sorry for myself. I felt like I was entitled to a nice home, nice car, nice job without having to work for it. I felt like I was truly entitled to all these good stuff. Well, the world said I wasn't. So I woke up kind of early one Sunday morning. Several weeks later, I stumbled at the den at my folks' house where the television was. I turned the television on. There was a religious program on that Sunday morning. And I really wasn't looking for any religion out of the television because I was and still am a devout Catholic. But I decided I'd watch this television show. I turned the television show, and lo and behold, there he was, looking me right in the eye. His name was Oral Roberts. I'd like to all you students at U of H downtown here this morning that a miracle happened that Sunday morning. You see, the miracle was that Sunday morning, Oral Roberts was not asking for any money. But he was preaching a message. The message was it's the greatest challenge that we all have from our Creator is to use our talents. He said, you know, there's a lot of you out there in television land today that are throwing your lives away. He said you're wallowing in the throes of self-pity. He said you feel sorry for yourself. You feel like the world owes you a favor. He went on to say, let me tell you something. He said, the world doesn't owe you a favor. You owe the world a favor. He said, get up, go to work, and make something out of your life. He said, get up, go to work, and make something out of your life. And that was a seminal event in my life. I remember it like it was yesterday. Because I felt like he was looking at that television camera and talking right to me that day in that little room. And I decided right then and there I was going to get up, go to work, and make something out of my life. So I went out the next day and I got a job at a small furniture store there in Dallas. And I only had one problem. That furniture store was located about 35 miles from my parents' house and I had no car. Well, I learned from life that you do what you have to do and you don't pay the price, you enjoy the price. So I got up every morning at 6 o'clock and I rode 2.5 hours out to the furniture store in that bus. And I'd work till 9 o'clock and ride the bus home. And I began to buy some books like Think You Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, a wonderful book, you got to read it. Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol, if you can find that when you're lucky because it's out of print. And I began to redo my stinking thinking. And I started working at that furniture store. I found something I was good at. I was good at retailing. After about 18 months, I began to dream of maybe having my own furniture store. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. However, I didn't want to open a furniture up there in Dallas to compete with my boss because he'd been very good to me as a mentor and a teacher and a coach. So I asked him in late 1980 where would be a good place to start a furniture store somewhere in Texas other than Dallas. He said, kid, I understand Houston's a boomtown. Try Houston. And at that time, my brother George down in Houston in the real estate business, I called him up one night. He called me back several weeks later, said he got me a location. And I went up dinner that night with my little girlfriend. Her name was Linda. She'd been with me through all my ups and downs in life, my many failures. And she got in the car that night. I was all excited. I said, Linda, I got great news for you tonight. She said, what's that, Mac? I said, we're going to move to Houston. We're going to get in the furniture business. She said, there ain't no way. I said, Linda, you don't understand something. She said, what's that? I said, we're going to move to Houston. We're going to get in the furniture business. And we're going to be successful. She said, look, Mac, you don't understand something. I said, what's that? She said, all my friends over here in Dallas, I went to school here. I've got a good job. I'm safe. I'm secure. I'm not moving to Houston. I'm not getting the furniture business with you. Well, I had learned, students, you've got to be successful in business and life. Above all, you have to be persistent. That's the one thing I teach you today. You've got to be persistent, never give up. So I kept asking her that night and asking her. Finally, about 11 o'clock, I asked her about the 40 times. She got very frustrated with me. She slammed her hand there on the dashboard in the car. Said, I'll tell you what, Mac. She said, I'll move to Houston. I'll get a furniture business with you. But you're going to have to marry me first. And I got to thinking to myself, this woman has put me on a difficult decision. But then I came up with what I consider to be an entrepreneurial brainstorm. I thought to myself, where else can I get an employee this cheap? I said, you got a deal. We moved to Houston April 1981. And all of our friends and know-it-all neighbors and relatives, as you become an entrepreneur or go out on your own and try to do something different, everybody's going to give you some third base coaching. They all said we'd never make it. We were undercapitalized, had no contacts in the furniture business in Houston. The abandoned model home park we were moving into on the North Freeway was a disaster. And on top of that, we only had $5,000 and no bank loans, no capital. And you know, they were right. We had very short odds of making it, but you know, I had the same unfair advantage that you have. And that advantage is called desire. Game, set, match. You can do anything you want to do if you want to do it bad enough. If you don't want to listen to all the narrative wells tell you you're going to fail, you can do anything you want to do. For me and my little wife got down here and we slept at that furniture store most of the first couple of years because we couldn't afford to have anybody steal our furniture. And we'd sell the furniture, and I would sell it, we'd load it on the truck, and she and this other guy would drive it and deliver it to people's house. And it was not unusual at all for us to sell out of furniture on a Saturday because we had so little money. We were turning the inventory that once a week. It was amazing. And Saturday night we'd sell out of furniture. When we had a U-Haul truck, I'd drive it up to my friend's place in Dallas, meet him there at 2 o'clock in the morning, take the day's receipt from Saturday, buy a bunch of furniture from him, load the truck up, bring it back down to Houston, and sell it on Sunday. Did that all the time. You do what you have to do and you enjoy the price. And the business started growing and growing, and we put a lot into it. Didn't take a day off the first 15 years. I like to work. My little wife, she's tremendous. She's an entrepreneur. She runs 3 businesses now. I told her to, I'm not real proud of this, but I told her to birth our 3 children after midnight so I wouldn't miss any work. She did that too, so that was a good deal. And the business has grown. We started with 1 location, now have 3. The sales this year will be about $200 million. And the business is good because we have great customers, great community, and we have free enterprise. Free enterprise enabled us to do all this. Free enterprise enabled us to employ 400 people. Free enterprise enabled us to do all those things to help all those people that were on the wall there. Why have I been successful in my business career, and what can you learn from me? Number 1 is the fact that I had wonderful parents. My mother taught me the power of persistence. My father taught me how to be a salesman. And most of all, my parents taught me to live a life built for others. In 1,000 years, my parents would have never thought to take a vacation without us kids, not in 1,000 years. That wasn't in their DNA. They lived for us. I remember when I was playing Little League Baseball many years ago, and my father was sponsoring all the teams, and the guy said, "You're just doing this because your kids are on the team." He says, "No, I do it for everybody." That my father was a giver, and I was very lucky to have him. Number 2 reason we've been successful is the fact that the ability to change. You know, the only thing constant in the business world today is change. And you have to accept and embrace tumultuous change. And if you don't, they're going to leave you behind. You know, I started in an analog world where there were 3 television stations in Houston, 2 newspapers, and 4 radio stations. That was it. And now it's all that stuff is dead and gone, and it's a new digital world. So those things have really changed. And the last thing I've done to be successful is ability to overcome setbacks. Life's messy, get used to it. You're going to have problems. You got to be able to learn to love what you hate. You got to be able to overcome obstacles. May 21st, 2009, it was a Thursday night before Memorial Day, big sale weekend. We had that warehouse full of furniture, and I got a call at 8:30 at night from the warehouse manager. He said, "The warehouse is on fire." I said, "Well, put that son of a bitch out." And he said, "Well, you don't understand. It's a bad fire." I said, "Well, go ahead." So we had these customers checking out, and I'm figuring they're going to take some fire extinguishers, put that fire out. Next thing I know, the fire chief's running there saying, "Everybody out, everybody out, everybody out." And I said, "I'm staying here. I'm going down with the ship." He said, "Either you get out or get arrested." So I got out. I walked out there in that parking lot. I looked over there, and I saw these flames jumping up above that warehouse 40 feet in the air. It was devastating. And that whole warehouse, $20 million of inventory, went up in about 15 minutes. And so we'd opened that store at Post Oak 2 months before. So now we're sitting there, and we got no warehouse, and we got all these employees, and we all joined hands at 10:30 at night, and we prayed for God's mercy and to go on. And we decided we're going to keep the store open, and nobody was going to lose any hours. All the employees were going to be in full employment. And I got home that night about 2 o'clock, and they started calling me at 6 a.m. Radio and TV stations wanting to interview me. And we had to find a warehouse because we'd ordered furniture the night before at midnight and 1 a.m. from our suppliers across the country, and that furniture was coming in. We had to find a place to put it, and we had to continue the business on Friday after the place burned down on Thursday. So we're scrambling around. My wife's looking around for a warehouse, and those trucks are going to be there at 5 o'clock. And I had a speech that day at Clear Lake High School at noon. I had another speech at a private school over here, the commencement speech that night for Westbury Christian Academy. Both of them called me that morning and said, "You're canceling, aren't you?" I said, "No, that's not part of the deal. I'll be there." I did the speeches because I don't cancel, and I showed up. And the salesman came in, and we ran the business, and customers started coming in and buying furniture to support us, even though they didn't need any furniture. And at 5 o'clock, I got a call from my wife. Got a call from this banker. He said, "We found this warehouse over in Sugar Land, Texas, that we own half of. It's got cantilever rack. It's got lift trucks. It's ready to move in." We moved in that warehouse at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and we shipped out $300,000 worth of furniture that day, and that was impossible. And they all accused me of being the arsonist, and we went on. Couldn't have time to cry. We had to go. We had to move. We had to take care of those customers, and we went on. We never missed a beat. We rebuilt the place. And the guy that burned the building down has been in Harris County Jail over here for almost 7 years now. It'll be 7 years in July. And they just declared him competent to stand trial. They asked me yesterday on the television what I thought about him. I said, "Well, you know, in the Catholic Church this year, the theme is God's mercy endures forever, and I have forgiven him. I've moved on." And he's suffered enough being there for 7 years. Life goes on. I want to tell you about some people who've inspired me in my life. You've got to, if you want to be successful, you got to hang around with successful people. And those young kids around me all the time, they say, "How do you work so much?" I love to work. What else is there? I cannot sit home and watch the Kardashians, and that's not normal behavior. I would shoot myself. Come on. Okay, here we go. People inspired me in my life. And, you know, y'all are lucky to be in Houston. It's the greatest city in the world. Boomtown, USA. Yes, the oil prices are down. Yes, it's tough right now, but it'll get better. You know, one of the things you got to do is you got to ask yourself, would the customers miss me if we were to go out of business tomorrow? Ask yourself that. Would the customers miss us if we go out of business tomorrow? When that building burned down, those people came in and they gave us money. They walked in starting 7 o'clock the next morning, Friday morning. They handed me checks for $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $200, $500, $20, $5. I said, "What this for?" "That's to help rebuild the store." I got this letter the other day. This letter is strange. Dear Jim, sometimes there's simply no word that can adequately express the depth of a person's feelings that are plagued by regret, guilt, and sadness for a wrong done. This is my predicament now for hurting you so badly when you trusted me so much. 1,000 I'm sorry I'm willing to say, but I don't know. But I know it can't undo what has been done, and it won't ease the pain in your heart. Instead, let me write this to let you know that I regretted my actions, and cheating on you is certainly an unforgivable mistake. I totally deserve all the anger and resentment from you for what I have put you through. However, it also pains me to see you suffering as a result of my misbehavior. Guilt burns in my heart thinking of all the hurt that you must have felt because of my recklessness. Every time that I think of you, I get angry with myself because I can't imagine all the bitter tears you must have shed when you learned of my indiscretion. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. As you read this letter, please find it in your heart to forgive me. I was lured in by some smooth talking and bright lights, but I should have known better. I regret every minute of my decision. I have surely paid the price. I admit it. I lost all my senses. I went to rooms to go. And I missed you ever since. I wasted my money on poor quality furniture. I can't live with myself. You've always been good to me, and as they say, the grass is not always greener on the other side. I've been there, and I'm still dealing with issues with room to go. I'm so disappointed. Well, a mistake is a mistake. I know I don't have the right to ask anything from you when I foolishly betrayed your trust in me. But if you find it in your heart to forgive me and give me another opportunity to prove how much I love gallery furniture, I will be very, very relieved indeed, for that would mean I still have a chance to love and cherish gallery furniture. Lastly, I just wanted to say that I have faith in our love. I have faith that we will overcome the odds and make our relationship even better than before. Give me another chance, and I have faith that one day we will look back to this and be glad we didn't walk away from each other. You have my word. I will never look at another furniture store again. Here I sit in my empty living room, missing you every day. And she goes on to say my apology letter. I hope you enjoy the letter, and yes, I meant every word, but mostly I hope you laughed a little in the process. I've been dealing with so many issues with rooms ago. It just made me miss gallery furniture. I joked with my coworker I was going to write you a letter and apology to you for cheating on you. Sometimes when things get you down, you just have to make the best out of it. Thank you and many blessings. Blah, blah, blah. Since then, she came out. What a great letter. Here's the point. Make the business so good the customers miss you if you go out of business tomorrow. The dean talked about adding value. What value can we add? What value can we add? How do we add value to the customer's experience? I got this letter the other day from this guy, and his name's Charles Koch. He and his brothers inherited an oil company from their dad. It was worth $15 million. That was 30 years ago. Now they're both worth $40 billion each. They did something right. They added value. So I went to the seminar with these guys the other day. It was kind of a political seminar, but I went there to learn about business, their business practices. And then, on top of that, the guy writes me a personal letter thanking me for coming to this conference. The point of the matter is the Koch brothers add value. And they're constantly, at 80 years old, these guys are constantly dissatisfied with the status quo. They want to know, how do we get better? They're not satisfied. They're not sitting down. They're not watching television. They're out there trying to improve the lives. They got 100,000 employees around the world. You think that adds value? That's what free enterprise is all about. It's about making the world a better place. It's about permissionless innovation for all you students here. Permissionless innovations. The Wright brothers didn't have to raise their hand and ask the government, Mother, may I invent this airplane? Think about how many dangers were in that airplane. Think about how many people are going to be killed testing out those airplanes. Think about all the problems, but they went ahead and they did it, and it changed the world forever, didn't it? Steve Jobs didn't have to say, Mother, may I invent the iPad? Mother, may I invent the iPhone? He just did it. He just did it. You got to take some innovation, you got to take some chances, you got to take a leap of faith. And I'll talk about people that have inspired me in this town. One of my heroes is Dr. Michael DeBakey. Dr. DeBakey was a great man. When Dr. DeBakey was graduated from Baylor College of Medicine, he went to World War II and he was a surgeon. Dr. DeBakey always wanted to get better. He led a life built for others. And he was totally dissatisfied with the battlefield surgery because all these warriors, soldiers were dying in the 30-mile transport from the battlefield to the hospital. So he had a better idea. He was an innovator. He moved the battlefield hospital to the battlefield. And if you ever saw the show MASH, Mobile Air Surgical Hospital, he started all that. Michael DeBakey did. This amazing man from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Went to Baylor College of Medicine. And then the war was over. He came back to start his private medical practice at Baylor College of Medicine. He got a call from the Surgeon General of the United States. Said, Dr. DeBakey, we need you to stay on for another couple of years. He said, what for? He said, we got all these thousands of wounded men and women coming back from European and Pacific battlefronts. We got to start a hospital system to take care of them. And Dr. Michael DeBakey started the VA hospital system in the United States. Amazing, isn't it? And then he came back to start his medical practice at Baylor College of Medicine and at the Methodist Hospital over here on Fannin Road. The whole Texas Medical Center is there because of DeBakey and Cooley and all these legendary people who had the guts to take chances. Dr. DeBakey, in the late 1940s, when he went to his car late at night in the fall, was walked out to the car by a security guard because people were hunting deer up and down Fannin Road. And then he invented open heart surgery and invented heart bypass and heart transplant. Ruptured aorta surgery is the world's toughest surgery. So he continues teaching. He's 97 years old. He's teaching at Baylor College of Medicine. It's at New Year's Eve night, and his wife's visiting their daughter in Galveston, so he's home alone. And he feels this horrible pain in his chest, and he knew, being the world's greatest heart surgery, that he had a ruptured aorta. And the pain was so terrific that he hoped that death would take him away and ease the pain, but he survived the night and they rushed him down to Methodist Hospital. And here's the world's greatest surgeon dying of ruptured aorta. And he had invented the surgery. Ruptured aorta surgery is the world's toughest heart surgery, but it had never been done on anybody older than 70 years old. Now this 97-year-old man, and they're having this raging debate in the hospital, could he survive the operation? And his wife's begging him to do the operation. They couldn't get an anesthesiologist that put him under because they thought the anesthesia would kill him, and they finally got an anesthesiologist to come over from the Veterans Hospital, and they put him under and they did the surgery. And amazingly, this 97-year-old man survived the surgery. Then he's back in the post-op room, and it's still critical, and they're doing all these blood transfusions on him and this and that, and all these doctors are huddled around the great man, and then one of the heart pumps stops pumping, and the whole room's panicked. They don't know what to do. And dying on their watch is the world's greatest heart surgeon. Dr. DeBakey wakes up right over here, looks at the head guy and says, you know, I invented that heart pump 30 years ago. Do this, this, and this. It'll work a whole lot better. And they did that. And he went on to recover, and he taught at the Baylor College of Medicine until he died when he was 99 years and 10 months old. Do you think his life made a difference? Why can't we do the same thing? Why can't we find our passion, and why can't we do the same thing? Yesterday was my birthday, and this woman came out there. Her name's her name's Joyce, and she takes care of CPS kids. I have a special place in my heart for CPS kids. I have a child we adopted from CPS. And it was my birthday party, and they brought these 12 beautiful children out there who've been abandoned. And it just breaks your heart to see them. But it reminded me of this incredible woman in Houston named Yvonne Strait. Yvonne Strait lived in a nice neighborhood in Houston in the 1950s, and she had a child. She had two older daughters, and her youngest daughter was born, was very healthy till she was about 5 years old. Then overnight, she became a vegetable. She had some type of meningitis or something. You couldn't do anything with her. She couldn't speak, couldn't see, couldn't talk, couldn't do anything. So Vaughn took her to all these specialists, and they said, you know, you need to put her in a home and let them take care of her. She's got Down syndrome. She'll die by the time she's 12 years old. You know, Vaughn's not going to do that because Vaughn had faith this child was worthy. The child had some talents. So Vaughn searched the world and finally found this doctor in Purdue University. And the doctor told Yvonne to observe the child and see what made the child happy. And Yvonne figured out that motion made the child happy. So she put this 6-year-old child who was a vegetable in her car, and the child was happy when the car was moving. And then she took the child to Purdue University, and the doctor took the child, put her on a trampoline, and he's lecturing to all these parents, and he's pushing the trampoline like this. And he does this for an hour and a half while he's doing the lecture, and the child's on the trampoline. And then he stops the lecture, and they have lunch, and they put the child back on the trampoline, starts the lecture again, and he's still pushing the trampoline like this. And the child says, first time the child ever talked. So Yvonne took the child, and Yvonne started a little school called Briarwood for children with special needs. And she was teaching her own child, and then it grew and grew and grew. And then her child finished Briarwood and went on to Brookwood, which is a home that Yvonne started with no government assistance. In Brookshire, Texas, now has 115 adult citizens with learning disabilities, including her child, who's now 60 years old. And everybody at Brookwood, including the paraplegics and the quadriplegics, have a full-time job. Because Yvonne believes, like me, that work is not a right, it is a human instinct. Work is not a right, it is a human instinct. Work is where we draw our self-esteem from, our self-worth, where we challenge ourselves, and all these people at Brookwood have a 40-hour job, and they're all happy. And some of them had all sorts of trauma. Some of them were successful businesswomen or businessmen. They got in a car wreck or a motorcycle accident and had brain injury. She had this guy this past summer that was a successful executive, had a brain trauma, was now severely mentally impaired, and he had problems doing the work at Brookwood, and finally he got got in the rhythm and started doing the work, and this grown man who was formerly very successful came running up to Yvonne a couple of weeks ago, and he had this piece of paper in his hand, and Yvonne didn't know what the problem was. He's running up waving this piece of paper, and Yvonne says, "What's up, John?" She said, "Miss Straight, Miss Straight, Miss Straight, look at this, look at this." He said, "What is it, John?" He said, Miss Straight, I got a paycheck, I got a paycheck, I got a paycheck. I'm a real person now." Think about the value you can add to your employees. Think about the value you can add to the customers, to the community by starting a business or contributing to a business and helping people get the joy of work. Yvonne, you see, changed the world. Nobody's ever done for the mentally impaired what she did because she wouldn't give up. She had 1,000 obstacles to overcome, and she keeps overcoming them every day. So I asked Yvonne, was Regina, my child, a very difficult child? She's the toughest child ever at Briarwood School. She said, "Oh no, not by a long shot." I said, "Well, who is Yvonne?" She said, "Well, it had to be this boy that I had way back when we had a little 2-room classroom at a church. We rented the rooms. And this boy's name was Tracy." She said, "He was incorrigible, he was horrible, he disrupted every class, he tried to get kicked out of school, he taunted, and she said, many times I wanted to kick him out of school, but I just didn't have the guts to do it." She said, "I kept working with him and kept working with him." He said, "I kept observing him. I knew that there was some good in there somewhere." She wouldn't give up. She said, "One day Tracy somehow climbed on top of this church and was up on top of the church threatening to jump off the top of the church and kill himself. And Yvonne was down on the ground screaming at him, 'Tracy, get off of that roof, come down here, come down here.'" And this exchange went on for 30 minutes, and finally Tracy came down off the roof, and he's climbing down this tree, and he pulled a limb off the tree. Went over there to where Yvonne was, and he took that tree limb and stuck it in her leg. The blood starts shooting out of her leg. Tracy's laying on the ground laughing, and he's having a big time. He thought it was funny. And Yvonne says, "No matter what you do, I'm never going to kick you out of the school. I'm going to straighten you out." And she did. After 3 or 4 years, he got better, and he went off to high school, and she hadn't seen him since. And Yvonne no longer is the principal at Briarwood because she's 87 years old. But she's the chairman emeritus. And several years ago, she was at the school. This good-looking guy came running down the hallway saying, "Hey, Miss Straight, Miss Straight, Miss Straight, do you remember me? Do you remember me?" She said, "No, I'm sorry, I sure don't. I don't remember you. Who are you?" She said, "Oh yeah, Miss Straight, you got to remember me. You got to remember me. I was your favorite student." She said, "No, I don't remember you. Who are you?" He said, Miss Straight, Miss Straight, Miss Straight, it's me, Tracy." She thought to herself, "Oh my goodness, I'm surprised. You're still alive." She said, "Tracy, you look great." She said, "Where do you live, Tracy?" He said, "Miss Straight, I live in Los Angeles." She thought to herself, "That's not very good, the land of fruits and nuts." She said, "Tracy, do you have a job?" He said, "Oh yeah, Miss Straight, I got a good job." She said, "What do you do, Tracy?" He said, "I'm on television." She said, "Really?" He said, "Miss Straight, have you ever seen my show?" She said, "No, I don't watch television, Tracy. What show are you on?" He said, "I'm on Cheers." "What do you do?" He said, "I'm the bartender." His name's Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson's father assassinated the federal judge in San Antonio. And so Miss Straight called him the other day, about 6 months ago. She wanted to put a chapter in a book about Woody Harrelson, so she had called to get permission from him. And the publicity agent who handled him said, "I'll take the name and number, but he'll never call you back." He called back in 5 minutes and stayed on the phone with her for an hour and a half crying, saying, "You changed my life." Free enterprise is about changing lives. Free enterprise is about taking that person who never thought they'd be anything and showing them that they too have value, they too have worth, and they too can make it in the United States in the free enterprise system. So even though Bernie Sanders stands for socialism, I don't. I've read those books by Winston Churchill, and I saw where socialism and Joseph Stalin killed 40 million people. And I saw where Winston Churchill fought to save Western society. And all these great things that we take for granted in this country are here because of free enterprise and capitalism. So my challenge to all you students here today is real simple. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. They've been telling me what I can't do for 45 years, I never listened to them. I never listened to them. I'm here to tell you what you can do. What you can do is you can go where you want to go, you can do what you want to do, you can be what you want to be. All it takes is desire, effort, and get a great education. Thanks very much.
Everybody, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Marilyn. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Great student. Thanks for having me. Yes, sir.
Really, really appreciate
Thank you,
it.
sir. Thank you. Y'all are great. Remember, you can go anywhere you want to go, do anything you want to do. Don't anybody tell you no. Tell yourself yes and make it happen. Photos, questions, whatever.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we have time now where Mattress Mack said he is willing to take some questions from anyone. If you're brave enough. If you'd rather put it on a note card and have me give it to him, you can do that.
Go ahead and ask me a question. I'm not shy. Go, yes, ma'am.
Now that the oil economy has been down in Houston and all the retailers have been slightly affected in all facets of it, how have you changed your business and with your employees and staffing? Whether have you kept everyone, or how have you done with your inventory and your supply?
Yeah, you know, we're obviously watching the situation closely. We're going back to square one at promoting harder. We certainly haven't laid anybody off. We've, I'm reading some fantastic stuff. There was an article the other day in the Wall Street Journal. I don't know if I had it. It was in the Weekend Wall Street Journal last week. It's about this hedge firm called Bridgewater, and it's about how they run the business on a meritocracy. And everybody in this hedge firm, it's the #1 hedge firm in the country. And they get all these brilliant people in there, and it's merit-based, and they do all these analytics like the Koch brothers do. And so we're trying to get more like that, make it more of a meritocracy. We've got some new people who've been there 2 years, and they're running circles past the old people. So we're trying to get more merit-based here and let the people know that you're going to be paid for what the value add to the business, the value add to the customers, and it's not going to be status quo. So yes, we're making some changes and coming up with some different promotions. I'm coming up with a new promotion I'm starting today. Y'all the first to know about it. And it says, if you come out and buy a mattress $2,000 or higher, queen or king size, you can pick the party you think is going to win the presidency, Democrats or Republicans, and if your party wins, your mattress is free. So we're doing that.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Were you there when that radio DJ got the tattoo of your face?
No, I let him pick the team, and he picked Carolina, who certainly I would have picked. And you see, that's the thing. Just because you're an underdog doesn't mean you're not going to win. 8 out of the last 10 Super Bowls have been won by the straight-up underdog. And everybody thought Peyton Manning and Denver was going to lose, and of course, they won. I was going to give him $3,000 worth of furniture if Carolina won, and he's going to get a tattoo on his butt if I won. So I won, and he got a 6-inch square tattoo on his butt, so, of me. But I'm still giving him the furniture. If he's willing to do that, furniture's okay.
Question over here?
So in 1988, I walked into your store with my husband. We both worked for Compact. We had Compact badges on. We were using someone else as a salesperson. You walked up and you said, "I'll help you." So you helped us. We have bedroom furniture that I need. It's excellent, solid wood furniture, but it's teenage. And I want, now that the boys are 30 and 31, I need to get rid of that furniture, and it's brand spanking new looking. Do you ever repurpose your previous furniture for people in need?
We do on occasionally. We have, we bring back furniture and we give it to the furniture bank, people like that. So
Okay.
we do that.
I do have some.
We'll take care of it. Yes, sir.
I love your T-shirt. Is America is made in America important to you? What helps the furniture industry is making it come back to the U.S.? What is helping the furniture industry in general to come back to the U.S.?
You know, I was in Lexington, Kentucky in the summer decided I'd go jogging. So I go jogging, and stupid me, I don't have an extra t-shirt, so I'm all sweaty. And I told this guy that was showing me around to take me to a sporting goods store. So I went to the sporting goods store and looked around for an hour and a half trying to find a t-shirt made in America. Not one piece of garment in the whole store made in America. So I was a little irritated. I came out, I said, well, take me someplace that has made in America. He said, well, the Sports Authority down there, definitely they advertise made in America. Go in there and I asked the sales clerk, you have any made in America stuff? I don't know, look around. I said, okay. And so I started looking around, nothing for an hour, and I finally found this Chris Kyle American Sniper t-shirt with the benefits going to the Wounded Warrior program. And I'm thinking, man, this is great. I finally found a made in America. I looked at the tag, made in Bangladesh. You know, I'm not saying everybody should buy 100% made in America products, but if you buy 20% made in America hard products, it's going to make a tremendous difference in this country. There's 90 million people unemployed. And the problem with the oil business, it hurts in these high-paying manufacturing jobs. You know, that's huge numbers, hundreds of thousands of high-paying manufacturing jobs. The brilliant American furniture business in the late 1990s and 2000 decided we'd offshore all production to China. And so most of them offshored to China, and there was an American consulting company, a big-time consulting company, the company that just bought GE appliances, started selling into the United States market these dorm room refrigerators for college kids below cost so they could figure out the United States market. And then this consulting company, this U.S. consulting company, got U.S. furniture manufacturers to offshore their stuff to them. Then the consulting company showed these people how to cut out the U.S. manufacturers, bring it in direct. And the U.S. furniture business lost 650,000 jobs. Wow. And these entire communities, you know, these communities in Virginia and North Carolina, these are communities of 15, 20,000, 50,000 people. That was their whole base, and now they're just ghost towns. It's all boarded up, and it's very, very sad. And so we got tired of buying furniture from China and having to wait 6 weeks to get it. And the problem is, nobody can see a crystal ball and forecast what the consumer demand is going to be 6 months down the road. So we either have way too much Chinese inventory or way too little, and either way we're going to upset the customers. And so I hired 2 guys 3 years ago to travel the country and try to find made in America furniture. So we hit a lot of dead ends, and then they went to this place called Holmes County, Ohio, which is about 60 miles from Canton, where the Pro Football Hall of Fame is. And they found all these Amish people there that have furniture factories. Amish are very interesting people, so we started buying furniture from them and buying more and buying more. And I went up there, and it was an amazing place. The average factory is about as big as this room. They have like 400 furniture factories in this town. And all the Amish children, they go to school from the time they're 5 to the time they're 14. Then school's over. And the boys go to work and the girls go to work, and the girls are 18, they get married and have children. And every child up there had mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and aunts and uncles, and no TV, no cell phone, no iPad, no nothing, but they're all happy. And the unemployment rate in that town is 1/2 of 1%. And so we drove one of the Amish guys to lunch, and he couldn't drive, that's part of the religion, but we got out and we're hiding all the iPads and iPhones and locking the car. And the guy said, you don't have to do that. I said, why not? He said, nobody's going to take anything here. And so now we're the biggest dealer of made in America furniture in the country. And we've really helped boom that economy of that town. And we're trying to get more manufacturing coming back to the United States as far as furniture, because it's something we were very good at and something we can reclaim, and it provides high-paying jobs for Americans. The problem is, if people don't have any money, how are they going to buy anything? If they don't have any money, how can they buy anything? And people that are on welfare is a wasted life. It's a wasted life. You know, I see those kids that work for me. They come to work, all their friends are there, they get a support group there, and if they have a problem, there's 50 people that can help them out of their problem, whether it's a financial problem, whether it's a boyfriend-girlfriend problem, whether it's a legal problem, or whatever it is. Somebody there in their support group can help them. But if they're at home by themselves, they spiral into that web of depression. It never gets any better, it gets worse. So we're going to get these people and get them to work and get them happy and get them, and then all of a sudden, 2 years from now, they're doing things they never imagined doing before. So work's the greatest thing in the world. Yes, ma'am.
What kind of I guess, extra training do you provide your employees besides retail sales?
We do retail sales. We do lots of consultants. We have this guy named Graham Bodie from LSU. He comes in and teaches all of our salespeople active listening. All salespeople like myself are horrible listeners. Horrible. I mean, you look at those debates, they just talk over each other the whole time. You know, and so this guy teaches us to listen 80% of the time and talk 20% of the time, which is difficult for somebody like me. Made a tremendous difference in the way we approach the customers. And one of the things he's taught us, buying furniture is stressful for people. People buy furniture when they have a life change. They moved into town, which is stressful. They're getting married, which is stressful. They're getting divorced, which is stressful. They're moving their parents into an old folks' home, stressful. Their kids are moving away to college, stressful. There's all sorts of stressors. Some are good stressors, like getting married. Some are bad, like getting divorced. But when the people are stressed out, if you listen to them, then all of a sudden you understand their story. They're going to buy from you versus not listening to the customer. So that's been a tremendous asset. And now we're working on this market-based management with the Koch brothers, trying to get the business even better so we can pay the employees more and make it a better value to the customers by listening to those customers and changing all the time, because we don't change right out of business. You know, it used to be the only place you could buy furniture was a retail store. Now there's 10 million outlets on the web you can buy it. You can sit home on Amazon, push a button, and buy it in your underwear. So we better make the experience something for the customers.
But one last question, anyone? Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is not a question, it's just a statement. My first job was in Mattress Firm. They are a big company in mattresses.
Uh-huh.
They are the leader right now in Houston. And they, in the meetings, they used to, we will always wear, in our designated districts and find really effective ways to, avoid getting the customer to leave the store and go to gallery furniture, because we knew that once they left the store, they went into gallery furniture, it was done, it was game over. So I just want to say that, I have a lot of respect for you, because you're a one-man guy, and you're competing with Rooms to Go, Mattress One, Mattress Firm, Amazon, and you are doing great. So, congratulations.
It's about being relevant to the customer. If you're relevant to those customers and you understand where they're at, then you can compete. And I thank you for saying that. And it's every day wake up and say, those customers don't owe us anything. We owe them a lot. And my final statement is, and I learned this from Tom Herman, the football coach at the University of Houston. It's a great statement for life. Write this one down. Grateful for everything, entitled to nothing. Grateful for everything, entitled to nothing. If we can do that, all of us can succeed in this wonderful free enterprise system and nurture the free enterprise system and get more people jobs and more people opportunity and more people thrill the fact that they're making the world a better place because of their job and what they do and how they service their customers.
Thank you so much once again, Mattress Mack. We appreciate you coming out and sharing your knowledge and expertise and your life with us, essentially. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Everyone, we are going to shift and try to stay on pretty close on schedule. You're welcome to shift to your panel room. We'll look to start those at about 10:15. Okay, thank you.